Hi, brew day today. So I'm going to be making a hazy IPA. This is going to have a combination of Galaxy, Citra and Mosaic hops. So you get nice stone fruit, mango and citrus flavors coming through. Alongside of that, I'm going to be combining with a relatively complex malt bill. So I'm going to have barley, wheat and oats in there. So you'll get a nice rounded mouthfeel. So let's crack into it. I've already put the water into the grain father and heated that to 66 degrees and then added the brewing salts. So that's a combination of gypsum, magnesium sulfate or Epsom salts, baking soda and calcium chloride. Now they act in the same way as salts do in food, so it adds in a bit of a flavor enhancement and it aligns the water profile to the style of beer that we're making, which today is a hazy. So without further ado, let's crack into it. Munich Light, chit malt, sour grapes, chit wheat, crystal malt, Aldrin oat, Maris otter. Giving it a stir to make sure there's no big lumps or dry matter to avoid a stuck sparge. Starting the mash in. So this will mash in for another 60 minutes and then the temperature will raise. We'll have a mash rest and then we'll be ready to sparge. While I'm waiting for the mash to heat up, I'm going to heat my sparge water in the grain father. So as you can see, it's 17 degrees at the moment and a target of 75. So water's in there ready to go to be pumped in when we go to the mash. Right, the mash is just finished and I'm about to lift the grain basket and start the sparge. The temperature is currently ramping up, so it's going to get to 100 degrees and then start the boil process. And the grains are just draining out from the sparge being completed. So coming back to boiling shortly. I'm just getting to the boil at the moment and things are starting to happen. So as you can see, the temperature is ramped up to 100 and what I've got on here is a 2000 watt heating element that I've added in to really push that temperature up. At the moment there's quite a bit of what is the proteins that have come out of the wort that have raised to the surface. Now, you can either mash that back into the boil or sieve it off so that you don't have those in there. Personally, I like to get the paddle and stir that back in, because those proteins are all part of the flavour of making this beer. So I will crack into it. An important part of brewing is to ensure that while you're actually brewing, you've got a beer in your hand. You need to be able to experience the flavours of the beer as you're doing the brew to really enhance the experience. What I'd also recommend is, when you get your hops, as you're about to put them in, give them a sniff. Smell those really ripe, fruity flavours that really come through off the back of some really good fresh hops. What you want to avoid is cheesy notes or muted smells and flavours that indicate that it's a bit old and a bit off. And if it is, don't put it in. Go and get some fresh stuff, because that's going to make the difference between a good beer and a great beer. Cool. Back to the beer. And once you've added your hops into your hop stand, get that whirlpool going. So I finished the whirlpool after adding in the hops for the hop stand. That's run for 20 minutes at between 80 and 74 degrees. And I'm currently cooling the wort in a cold crash using the counterflow chiller, which is connected under the sink to the mains. And I'm just filling this bucket, which I'll throw in the spa for top up. So this should be just running through, dropping the temperature, getting some of that true bout of suspension, and clearing the beer up a little so that it's ready for transfer. Okay, so the wort is cooled down after the hop stand, and I'm transferring across into the fermenter and capturing the water, which I'll be using for cleaning after. So it's transferring in. I'm going to be using the Pomona strain from Lalaman, which is a hybrid IPA yeast, which means that it's got some of the benefits of lagers, but also the benefits of a good ale yeast with an accentuated hop profile. So it'll really bring those hop flavors out in the hazy beer. So without further, we will crack into it. One optional step that I like to do is to add a bit of oxygen into the wort before I close it off and start the ferment. So I'm setting this at about 1 litre per minute, and we'll then pitch through into the fermenter and run that for about a minute. So basically gets a little bit of oxygenation in to kickstart that yeast propagating. So let's get into it. Well, that's brew day done. I've transferred the wort, and I have pitched the yeast, given it a bit of oxygen to kickstart that fermentation, and moved the fermenters back up onto the bench. so they're out of the way. Reattach the hop dropper so that when we get to pitching some dry hops that we won't be introducing any oxygen, and attached a blow off tube which goes down to some sanitized water so any bugs or oxygen can't get back in. We've set the temperature to 18 degrees, currently sitting at 20, and the glycol chiller is slowly chilling that down over the next hour or so, so that we've got the best of temperatures to kick that one off. The tubing there is from the glycol chiller down to a coil that's in the inside of this fermenter, which transfers hot heat out of the fermenter and back to the glycol chiller, which will chill that down. So all good on that. Basically we're going to ferment at about 18 for 10 days and then ramp it up a little to have a diacetyl rest so that we don't get any off flavors, and then chill that down and condition it over the next couple of weeks after that. So obviously in that time we will pitch our dry hops through the hop dropper, which I will add to as well. So cheers everyone.